Hello everyone and welcome back to another Misfits Racing League event. It's the Belgian Grand Prix. We're here for the Oceanic Division. It's round number 4 and joining me is Seb. How you doing, Seb?
I'm good, how are you, man?
Oh, doing good. It's a little early, but we're going to get some racing in for the Oceanic boys like yourself. And we've got Spa today. So very, very interesting, fast circuit, iconic circuit. How you feeling for the guys around here today? 19 turns.
19, 20 turns, one of the two, but it's such a fun track. It's a long track, minute 40 laps, but you get this right, it is a great feeling. Just like as I described Great Britain, this is one of the best tracks in the world to drive on any car, any day of the week. So expect some good racing here, especially with the Camel Straight. And you have that massive run from turn 16 to turn 18 or 19, depending on how you look at it, from Francorchamps to the bus stop chicane.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun circuit for these racers to drive. Of course, we've got Belgium this week. Next week, we have Italy. Following that, Singapore, Russia, Japan, the US. Then we go to Mexico, Brazil, and then we round out the inaugural season for the Oceanic Division, if you will, with Abu Dhabi there on the 17th of December. Now, we'll take a look real quick at the teams on the grid today. We have a few reserves in place. 4 reserves, I believe, in place, but of course, we'll take a look at the full-time roster drivers here. We've got a Pepsi, Apollo Pepsi and Big Impulse, of course, over at Mercedes, Stars and Trin over at Ferrari. You have Mikau and Red Panda over at Red Bull with Resin Yukio for McLaren, a combined YouTuber with Ruben over at Renault. Then you have Wangod and Psycho for AlphaTauri, Zaino and Ben the Bear over at Racing Point, and that's Revo and Shrimp for Alfa Romeo. That's Big Al and Gazieg with Haas. Big news coming out of Haas today. Then you have Simdogga and T-Mac for Williams. Let's take a look at the standings. Standings right now. Revo is locked and loaded up at the top of this championship with 76 points right now. The Sauber Esports driver repping the Alfa Romeo squad quite well. You've got Ben the Bear in second position with 40 points. Big Al right behind him with 39. So it's a great championship right now. You have Alpha, Red Bull, and then the AlphaTauri squad, your top 3, if I'm not mistaken. No, that's Racing Point. I'm losing my mind. The Racing Point squad, they're in third. So lots of fun happening on the grid, and we're about to jump into an absolute pressure cooker of a race here for Spa.
It's an interesting lap of Spa we have. Sector 1 is pretty much just one corner of La Source. It's key you get a great exit out of there because turns 3, 4, and 5, 2, 3, and 4 of Rouge and Radeon basically non-existent in these cars. You got the lovely section of turns 9 and 10, Brussels and the no-name corner, ironically. Got to fight a lot of understeer from the off-cambered, I guess, sloping of turn 9. Puon, fast left-hander, turn 11. That's really fun. Get it right. Just avoid that inside curb, though. That can send you spinning a lot. And also, you got the notorious bus stop chicane. Expect some moves to happen there, especially if people have battery saved up and are decently faster than the rest or the car they are overtaking.
Yeah, it can definitely be a hot spot for overtaking. 18 drivers presently on the timing tower. So we have Gazieg, Impulse, we have Apollo combined, Ben the Bear, Panda, Potsy, we have Ruben, Domi, Revo, Freeware, Wangod, Mikau as well, T-Mac, Zaino, Trin, Big Al, and Psycho on the grid here so far. And I think we might have a couple late joiners, maybe some connection problems, not entirely sure, but 18 drivers. Still a fantastic turnout for racing here in Spa. Now, one thing to talk about, we had the European division go racing around here on Tuesday, and they had a safety car. Well, I think they had 3 safety cars now that I think about it. Or was that the practice race? I'm getting confused now, but we've had a little bit of action around Spa this week already. This is the second of 5 races this week. happening for the Misfits Racing League. 2 more happening today at 9:15 and 11:15 respectively for our friends over in the UK. That's BST, 9:15 and 11:15. We've got Tier 2, Tier 1 action. Revo is the first driver out of the pit lane here, Seb, and he's leading this championship, and he'll be the first one to give us a lap around Spa.
Dry race, oh, sorry, not dry race, dry quali and mostly dry race, but I expect to be wet by the end. That's the news I've got. Just on touching base with the safety car info you were talking about before. Turns, top of Radion, you can expect maybe there to be some incidents. Same with Puon, especially with that inside curb, and maybe people just asking too much of their tyres. You can also expect some incidents out of turn 8 out of Lacombe and out of turn 10 out of No Name. So Radion expects maybe.
My microphone picking up. I'm just trying to check in, make sure everything's good on stream here. Picking up a little bit of audio. But yeah, Revo coming through sector 3. Such a flowing section of circuit here in Spa. And into that chicane, as you were saying earlier, where we might see a good chunk of overtaking. But to begin a lap, it's Revo, and you can see he takes a wide berth out of that final turn.
This is all about the exit now. The source is coming up. Break about 100 meters, get that down to the second gear. He lives in third. He's an Eastwells driver. He knows more than me all about the exit here, because that's the sector right there. One corner. Just take a optimal line as possible through Eau Rouge and up the top of Radion. And you just got the Camel straight. DRS is coming up on you. Open it up, take a tight one to the right and just straight line it all the way to Lacombe. Now you want to get that car to the left on the curb and just swing it over these inside curbs here. Right one, just touch that left one, get it to the left now for the right of turn 8. You're preparing yourself for turn 9, Brussels. Just try and fight that under so you get in a bit of inside locking, but that might just be net. Now you have No Name, get it down to 5th. Just be careful not to run too wide, you might invalidate your lap. Now you're going to go up to 8th gear and just shift back down to 7th. Using that engine to slow the car down. It's been a good lap so far from Revo. Brake it just at the end of the, start of the curb. Avoid these curbs, they might spin you out a little. Ramco, brake at the curb, attack these curbs now. You don't really lose traction from accelerating on the exit curb. Okay, we're on our way to Blanchemont. Let's try and take an optimal line, be as smooth as possible to reduce total scrubbing, allowing for minimum lap time. Blanchemont, avoid that outside curb. You're braking about 100 meters for the bus stop. Get it down to second gear and tack these curbs as well. Just be wary on the exit. Up to third gear, short shift, open to 4th, open the DRS, and that's a lap of Spa.
A very fast one at that, a 140.982, the provisional pole time. First time coming out of Revo here. Very neatly done. Next driver to cross the line, that's Apollo Pepsi. In second position. That's a 142.6 from him. Big Al, a 142.422. He's third to cross the line here in the Haas.
Race strategy as well. Soft to medium, in case I haven't said that already. Interesting to see Impulse and Combined YouTuber starting laps on or going out on mediums. Impulse is making the switch to no assist for this race. So good luck to him.
Domi in the Williams coming through sector 3. He's in a reserve capacity. We've got Freeware here in a reserve role as well.
It's pretty neat through the bus stop. Pretty neat indeed.
Neatly done from him. A 142.1. Mikau, 141.4. Spicing things up a bit.
And Domi had some good ERS management there, just left that little bit in the tank just to allow that run to the start-finish line from the bus stop chicane.
Things are definitely ramping up in this quali. We've only got 7 drivers to set times. 8, excuse me, as Ben the Bear takes provisional pole on his first run. The tie driver in the Racing Point. Gonna be happy with that. A near 2/10 up on Revo. combined in that Renault on those mediums, going to be setting a time here. Impulse, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be beginning a time soon as well. .143.5 from combine will jump on with Impulse as he starts his first run. He's on the mediums. Coming down into turn 1. We have another time coming across there. That's Psycho. A 143.5 on the soft compound tires from him, and the first 10 drivers have set times. Gap to leader right now from first to third, 6/10. A little bit further down to them, it's 2.7 to 10th. We've got a little bit of a difference in tire strategy here on Combine's end, and Impulse is going to be doing the same on the mediums.
Ooh, he's just got a bit deep into turn 6 with leg com, which kind of compromised turn 8. As it meant he had to go a bit deeper into turn 7.
Oh, big slide out there. He's not enjoying these mediums, I don't think, Seb.
Yeah, it's an interesting call, but you save yourself those soft tires at the end of the race, but it's a pretty easy soft to medium, so... But yeah, turn no name corner, which is turn 10, I'm pretty sure, is just... It's a bit of a kerfuffle. You got to be careful on that throttle, because you feel like you can slam it down, but if you're not careful and you don't have those rear tires underneath you, you will lose the car, so...
Potsy, 7th fastest here in the Ferrari. It was a 142.438, 3 milliseconds off of Panda. And things are quite tight between Panda and Big Al as well.
Gosliak's just retired. Just to see...
Coming in through the sector 2-3 split.
Up towards Blanchemont from turn 15.
Not going to get a peek, I don't think. No, I'm gonna.
No, you can kind of see. You can kind of see the track lines on Pepsi's view, but the car's already disappeared, so I can't really get a good look at it.
Wangod right now has just invalidated his run coming down the hill. He's not going to be too thrilled. It's 9 minutes remaining and quite a few drivers yet to set laps here.
Watching the onboard, it just gave that inside curve of pull and just a little bit of a touch, and he's flying the car the whole way, and that car looks really oversteering. You kind of tell through Puon, even once he got the car under control, it just kept kicking out on him.
Got a Ferrari coming behind him. I believe that's Potsy. Nope, that was Trin on an outlap, excuse me, as it's Potsy, I think, on his way into the pit lane here. Henners has joined us. I think he'll be taking up a reserve role on the grid. Henners a tier 1 racer on a normal basis for the Haas team. Will possibly be racing tonight. Not entirely sure, but of course Trin now is on a flyer in the Ferrari. Coming down the Kemmel straight.
Interesting. Well, Ituki really hugged the inside of what was turn 5 on the Kemmel straight. Just gotta hook this up here. He's gone a bit deep though. Just get that car hooked around. He's done a pretty good job.
Ooh, little bit of a wobble.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying with the throttle application in no name. You gotta just be really cautious of it,
Revo.
especially in the race when you're on full tank of fuel. and worn tyres. You're just pointing out Revo's gone fastest by a tenth over than the Bear.
Ooh, yeah. Oh, and that's it. Done for him. Trend's done after that. It doesn't seem like it was that quick, but he's doing like 100K, so the tire's gone.
He just hasn't hit the wall on the right angle. Just looked like he didn't open up the steering enough going on throttle. Maybe not expecting the car to grip up and just understeer all the way. So
On a flyer right now. That was rough. That was rough to watch.
Yeah.
Zaino, no time set for him. 6 minutes remaining to the line in the racing point. The time is going to be a 1:44.589. Ruben in 9th as well here. Those Renaults have been quite tight. We saw it in Silverstone. We saw it a little bit in Hungary as well.
Yeah. Keep in mind, combines on those medium tyres, and they're worth a bit more around a lap here, just considering it's a longer circuit and there's more corners.
Ooh, Impulse coming out through Blanchemont. Bit of an invalidation, so he is going to have to run again, and he was on the saw compound tires this time.
Yeah, it's interesting. I didn't really catch how he invalidated. If he invalidated just going that little bit wide.
He went a little wide, just on that that very fast, almost flat left-hander, where you use that outside curbing. Caught a little bit too much curb, and now it's freeware on a flyer coming down the hill.
Freeway looks like he's got that car hooked up. Just watching how it's handling. Down again, that is perfect. That's how you take cool one right there. He's gone a bit wide into here, just not really hitting those apexes. That's going to cost him about 3 times, but he still has a purple middle sector, if I'm not mistaken.
Really excited to see what time the McLaren can pull together here. Of course, if you're just tuning in, thanks for watching. Thanks for coming to hang out. My name's Strifium. Joining me is Seb. You're here for Misfits Racing League Round 4 of the Oceanic Division. We're here in Season 3. Of course, we've got a ton of racing. We've got Tier 2, Tier 1 later this evening for those in the UK. Of course, a little bit earlier for those in North America. But Oceanic racing happening now. Hit that follow button if you're looking for a ton of fantastic racing. We're here on PC, but we have a great Misfits community there on the Discord to jump in and hang out with. So thanks for coming and hanging out. Greatly appreciated, as we have freeware. He sets 4th quickest here. A 1:41.5 out of the McLaren, and very nicely done. The only driver to set a time on the mediums is Combined, and he'll be getting out, I'm sure, to improve on that.
Oh, look at Wangold.
Things are very quick for the AlphaTauri. We saw him fighting quite well with Mikau the other day in Hungary. And here he is, jumping Mikau into 3rd position. Mikau now on an outlap.
Just a note on one of the Red Bulls, Red Panda just came into the pits then. He's still getting wheeled back in. He's going to have to get his settings done real quick if he wants to set a lap time.
A lot of drivers on outlaps right now, one of them being Revo, the other being Ben the Bear. The two front road runners right now separated by less than a tenth on this grid. Both going to be looking to get out for final runs. And the big question is, which one of these two is going to take pole? Because they are clearly, compared to the times we're seeing on the tower right now, they are somewhat of a cut above Seb.
Revo, obviously a esports academy driver for Alfa Romeo. Sorry, Sauber Esports, I should say, as they're called. Ben the Bear, the tyre driver, is just about to start a lap. And he's been putting up a good challenge all season, just had that unlucky DNF, or sorry, incident at Austria at the safety car restart, which I've said probably for about the 4th time in the past 3 weeks.
Well, it was quite unique. He had that. I think he got throttle locked, or there might have been a kick out from the rear. I don't remember, but it was a terrible incident. And then it was Silverstone where there was a little bit of contact. Stewards, I think, deemed it a racing incident, of course, and it did definitely look like a racing incident. And then you have Hungary, which is just a pressure cooker of a race. Panda pulling off to the inside now.
He looks like he's got a good lap so far. It looks really fast, and it looks like he's got the car under control very well. Had a bit of understeer, a bit of slide through turn 8 on the exit of Les Combes, that section, but overall pretty good. Nails pull on as well, just for good measure. Can he hook up here better than last time? Yes, he can. Take this inside curb, gives you a bit of an extra 10th in time. Tell you what, Strifi's on here.
He's up quite a good amount. He's up nearly 2 tenths here. Flying for pole. It's the tie driver coming through Blanchemont now here in Spa, of course, through the fast left-hander. This is where we saw Impulse invalidate. He keeps it so tight, doesn't even utilize that outside curbing. Coming down into the chicane. Is he going to get it done? Through turn 19 now. The final turn.
Just keep it clean.
Oh, it's going to be a banger.
Pull on. Yes, he's done it.
Very neatly done from him. Impulse runs a 143.4 to get into 13th position. Let's take a look at Revo, and Revo is not going to be improving on this run. He is in the grass, Seb. He is in the grass, and that's going to be Ben the Bear jumping onto pole position here in Spa.
Bit of an upset here. I said he lost it at Puan. He's probably got it on that inside curb of Puan. That will really unsettle the car, especially in this game. It will throw the car off balance and send you flying. You just gotta let all these other cars come through. You've got to be careful not to tire on track as well, getting in the way of someone.
Very, very unfortunate there. Now drivers catching the checkered flag, and the Bear on his in lap.
Hand up.
And a flying now.
Looks like a good lap from here standards. Just opens up that car. Nicely done. Up 4 tenths as well. Just got to find that extra bit of time. Might be able to get a P5 here, but we will see. Keep it nice and tight. Takes the apexes of the bus stops really well. Try and find the traction out of the bus stop and see what he does. Ooh, just off.
He invalidates and cuts coming through that final chicane, and Impulse calls it, and he gets into the pit lane. So that is the end of our qualifying session here for round 4 of the Belgian Grand Prix. It's the Oceanic Grid, and it is Ben the Bear on pole position with Revo lining up next to him on the front row. Wangod rounding out your top 3.
That may not be a good thing for Ben the Bear if you think about it, though.
It's going to be difficult.
The slipstream you get from turn 1 to Les Combes is massive. So being in first is not necessarily a great thing, although it was a good effort from Ben the Bear, so you got to give it to him.
Yeah, definitely worth the bragging rights just to get it for pole position on Revo, and I'm sure he'll be thrilled about it. We have, once again, Ben the Bear on pole position, Revo in second, Wangod rounding out your top 3 with Mikau in 4th, Domi in the Williams in a reserve capacity today in 5th with Freewer there in 6th, Panda in 7th, Potsy in 8th, that's combined in 9th with Big Al rounding out your top 10 racers here ahead of this one. Of course, we'll go down through the rest of this grid come the formation lap. I am extremely excited. And what was the weather report again, Seb? I don't entirely remember what you had said in the beginning.
Dry race. dry race that becomes wet by the end of the race.
We are going to get some rain here in Spa. This is the second time we'll see rain. If the weatherman is correct, of course. We saw it in the European grid on Tuesday. Now we may be seeing it again here. I don't know what's happening over there with him. It's very unfortunate to see. We saw it happen to him in Silverstone, I think, most notably.
I believe this is game issues with him. I don't think this has got anything to do with his internet or his computer. It's just purely issues with the game. So hopefully people have loaded their setups. I hope they have, because otherwise they're gonna be in for a hellish ride. Now, do you know if there's formation lap or not?
I do believe there will be formation lap.
Okay.
But one thing I am curious to see is the tire strategies, as we've, of course, had the restart, ensuring that all the top 10 begin on the soft compound tires. And they have, which is always nice to see, except we've had a little bit of a change now. Drivers on this grid choosing some different tires than what we saw last time round in that back 10, which I think is par for the course with these restarts. You hate to see it, but of course some people having a change of heart. We've got a few more softs. We've got Psycho, Ghazi on the hards. You've got Ruben Impulse on the mediums with T-Mac. But that top 10 all on the softs, which is very important.
I'm really interested with this soft choice. Probably might be predicting a early safety car here. Just think that if there was custom rain set by Macau in regards to the fact that the original session was going to have rain at the end of the race, just thought that maybe you would have started on the mediums, maybe try and stretch that out to the rain, or just go medium to soft and utilize those softs having better tire temperature management in cooler conditions than mediums and hards, for example. Interesting to see Ben the Bear's getting around the track pretty fast. He's not doing a lot of weaving compared to last time, so maybe just wants to get this underway quickly. I wouldn't blame him if he did, though.
19 drivers, Trin bringing up the rear of this grid. Hopefully his connection, or not connection, as he said, it was his game issues. Hopefully his game issues don't plague him for the rest of this race here. Say, on a commentary level, these issues, these bugs, they affect us too. It does definitely throw a wrench. I'm like, okay, we've done this, let's go again. You don't want to keep going and doing the same thing over and over again. I remember Zandvoort. It was a tier 2 rescheduling. We restarted quali 4 times. After already rescheduling the race. That was earlier this season, round 5. I was not impressed. It's very hard to commentate qualifying in the first 10 minutes of qualifying 4 times. Alright, I think we're good to go here. 4 or 5 red lights here in Spa. It's the Ardennes Forest, the Belgian Grand Prix. We're away. Ben the Bear off the line now, and it's Trin with a good start. He's already gone up quite a number of positions. Revo already on the outside of Ben. Let's take a look at how things are panning out through the center of this field. There's already a car off, and who's that now? It is Trin in the Ferrari. He's had an issue.
So watch them all file up here. He's also taking out Psycho with him. Ben the Bear's got Reba for company up the front. Here comes that slipstream chain.
Yeah, Apollo. Wheel to wheel now. He's made it ahead of T-Mac coming down the Camel straight. They're wheel to wheel. That is the Haas moving through.
Ooh.
Apollo's come round now. Big reset to track there out of the Mercedes. The stewards will be happy we caught that. Of course, Ben the Bear is in second position. Revo has taken him off of pole position for lead of this race.
Like I said, that massive run from turn 1 to Lake Como, I'm pretty sure, just gonna not do Ben the Bear any niceties there. Just watching that incident with Pepsi and Big Al, that was obviously Pepsi's fault. Just maybe outbroke himself and didn't really get enough alongside.
Impulse has
Big
had
Al
an
to
issue.
contest for the Apex.
He's gone round. He's going to be looking to get back on track. We're going to take a look at the front end here. It does not appear that he's had any damage on that car. Could have just been an issue coming down the hill. Let's take a look back to the middle of this grid. Pozzi, the Ferrari, tight to the rear of Panda right now, coming down into the chicane. Is he going to go for a lunge? He looks to the inside, but we don't see the move just yet. But of course, Pozzi has some company behind him. That's Combined and Big Al going wheel to wheel. T-Max looking for an opportunity as well. Wangod and Domi exchanging. It looks like Wangod and Domi. Wangod in fourth right now. He's actually in third. Mikal is not leading this race. Wheel to wheel right now. The Williams on the outside with a little bit of a weave, looking for space here. Wangod squeezing him off to the inside. Who's going to be later on the brakes? Wheel to wheel coming through. A little bit of contact. Domi gets loose there, and Mikal is looking at him real close in the Red Bull.
Yeah, you could just kind of see that contact coming from when Domi was coming up to turn 5. You could just tell he needed to kind of back out because Wangard was always going to take around the outside of that corner.
Pozzi and Panda
alongside.
They've exchanged Pozzi into 7th position. Combined has had Big Al into 9th. Things very intense on this race start. No safety cars deployed just yet. Mikal and Domi wheel to wheel now, coming down on the exit of the hill. Domi is struggling here on that curb. Freeware is going to be looking to really inherit position and time. A little bit of a tap there. Domi getting on that curb. Not as much stopping power in that car here.
That's damage for Freeware, that front wing.
Yeah, he's not going to be too thrilled.
You just tell when he hit him. You just tell once he hit him, he just started understeer and just got to hop off board and go out. The front wing. On the topic of Domi nearly losing it, you just tell just avoid that inside curb of, I believe, turn 14. That is, if you clamp a throttle on that curb, you will lose it, as Domi nearly found out.
Revo leading this race. He started it in 2nd position. Ben the Bear now from pole to 2nd position. They've flipped completely, and Wangod's just holding station in 3rd. Mikal a second away from him, coming up through Eau Rouge into Radion, and of course the Camel Straight.
Crucially, Ben the Bear has DRS on Revo. This is going to allow him just to keep within touch.
Freeware on the rear of Domi, looking to the inside now with a late lunge. Is he going to get it done? There's a bit of contact. He's got that damage on the front left, and he's come around, and there's a Red Bull that goes straight into him. That's Panda out of this race. Freeware has fortunately stayed through. Yellow flags in that section, and the Red Bull out. That's a massive crash for him. And are we going to have a safety car? I do believe we have a full course caution, but I don't see a deployment in the top left on the safety car.
That is likely getting sent to the stewards. I'm surprised Red Panda didn't see that early, but you can't really blame him for it as well, because I don't think he's expecting the car to come back on the track like that. Also, nothing Freeware could have done. That's not Freeware's, well, not entirely Freeware's fault for the comeback on the track. He already had his car out of control. So
I've refreshed the UI, and I can confirm we have a safety car here on lap 3.
I just did the same. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. Do we have any early pitters apart from those with any form of damage?
Well, Panda will not be thrilled. Important to keep a cool head in these situations. It sucks, but there's not much that can be done. Freeware did not have control at that point, I don't think. He lost it on the curbing. Car came back around. Red Bull straight head on into him. Last time I saw that, it was Canada in Tier 2 earlier this season.
People pitting.
Yeah, the entirety of this
all
grid.
going on to mediums. Oh, sorry, it was not all mediums, sorry, hards. Is that Ben the Bear going on to mediums? Revo's gone on to hard. He's probably looking for those tyres to last the whole race, which they should.
What a massive development. The position changes have been massive. Ruben and Henners. Well, Ruben on the mediums, I get it, but Henner's,
Well,
I
what
think that may
is-
be a mistake, sir. But here's the thing. It's early. It's early. Safety cars, they breed safety cars. We've seen it before. Henner's could be in a very good position here on these soft compound tires. He's got Ben the Bear right behind him. Revo in second position, just ahead of him. So he's splitting up those two front row starters. What a development. There we have Zaino back into the grid. Well, not quite as quick as we saw it on Tuesday with the European division. We saw the safety car deployed before we made it even through turn 1. This time around, things made it to lap 3. Progress.
That's 3 times better than what we had last. Or what? Yeah, what we had last time.
You know, when these grids are this tight, are you really that surprised? I mean, we do see safety cars quite regularly in reality, and it's just it's a lot of aggression, a lot of tight bunch drivers.
Yeah,
I think
a lot of aggression to lay calm. It's a pretty fast corner. You'd want to be a bit more cautious to it, especially if you have the inside line and you're not necessarily fully wheel to wheel with someone. You'd think if you're going inside into lay calm and the outside car is got, I guess, length in front of you, then you try to back out of it. But these guys have their mindset, so if they want to go for it, they can. You know, just something to keep in mind.
Ruben in the Renault for this occasion. Of course, a full-time driver here for the Oceanic grid, but also a full-time driver on the European grid. So he knows already what to expect here, which is why we may have seen him start on these medium compound tires. He was a part of that European grid on Tuesday. And one key thing here for Ruben is he's got a couple of wins under his belt this season. He won Monaco in the European split, and he runs in Ferrari. He'll be looking to get some points for Renault, but he's got Revo, who we know is very, very rapid, breathing down his neck. Henner's in third position, Ben the Bear in fourth, and Mikau in fifth. And look at the tire strategy difference. You have the hards and the mediums all the way up and down this grid. And we still could have potential rain coming. For those that are just tuning in, rain could be on the horizon here. We had a restart. We were going to get it. We had the restart. Things are unclear whether or not we'll see light, heavy, or any rain conditions at all.
Just a note, at the start of the safety car when everyone pitted, I just remember Hennes being in front of Revo, and I think he pulled off to the side at Eau Rouge just to let him by, maybe? I can't remember exactly, but maybe that was due to an illegal overtake or something, I don't know, but...
May have been, because it just doesn't make sense for me for Henners to be behind Revo.
Yeah.
I mean, Revo's quick, but he and Ben, I mean, if Ben is sitting there right behind Henners right now, I just don't see how that's possible. So I think that you may be correct in that.
I think him going off the track allowed Revo to get back through without the safety car gets called it back in. It just allowed him to go back through without any more of the glitch happening or something. Unless that glitch has been fixed already. But we'll see. Ruben leads the pack. He dictates what happens here. Revo's going to need to warm up the tyres along with Mikau, Potsy, T-Mac, Pepsi, Freeway and Trin as they're all on hards. One step softer than Ben the Bear, Domi, Wangod, Big Al combined, Impulse, Zano, Psycho, and 2 steps softer than Henners and Gauzieg.
Henners Trying to stick with these two in the front right now. Revo is looking at Ruben.
Ruben's going for it.
I think he's going, yeah. Revo gonna be looking to dispatch him as quickly as he can here, and it's gonna be Ben the Bear looking to get Henners. We're gonna jump on with the Thai driver. He has a look down into the inside coming through turn 1 right now. We're back to green flag racing. There's very tight gaps on this grid.
Run. Got a terrible run out of turn 1. Just trying to get a wide line just to avoid running into Henners, but that's cost him here.
EMAC and Impulse have had an exchange, and there's an exchange further down the grid, but let's take a look at Ben now as he's got the run. He's got Henners.
Interesting enough, Henners gets a little bit out of shape in the middle of Eau Rouge and at the top of Radio, and that just allowed Ben, who had a much smoother run up there, get through.
Freeware through into 13th position. Zaino into 14th. He's got a whole train of cars behind him. Domi in 6th position, quite tight to the rear of the Red Bull. Mikau in 5th. And we are going to do what we can to get you as much action as we can, as things are very, very tight. Moving down through this field. Ruben still leading this race. Revo on his heels here. And the Bear, presently he is on the quicker compound of tire, being on those mediums in comparison to the hards.
There's a DRS train from 1st to 10th. Just a nice DRS train. Mine's just kind of dropped out of that a little.
Psycho and Apollo having an exchange. Ghazi is quite close. Henners and Mikau wheel to wheel right now. Mikau and Henners through the chicane, and it's going to be Henners losing out. Perhaps Ruben. Ruben's come wide, and he's gone into the inside wall coming through out of turn 19. We're wheel to wheel between. Well, Freeware was in on that exchange. No, excuse me, that was Henners. I am losing my mind here. Wangod and Mikau have had an exchange.
Domi just absolutely mugged off Mikau and Wangod. Those fighting for position out of the bus stop.
Revo and Ben.
Domi just slipped onto the inside.
Revo and Ben. Revo holding tight. Ben the Bear in the rear, not utilizing too much battery. Coming down through into Lacombe. Domi just overtook 3 cars, and I didn't even know what to make of it because Ruben went into the wall.
It's all kicking off here. I'll say this, put Domi's move to music. I'd like to see that again. Very smart indeed.
This entire field is quite tight as we move down through. Of course, we'll take a look at the stops right now. Only 3 drivers haven't stopped in this race. Zaino and Trin having an exchange right now coming down the hill. Trin gets through on Zaino, it would appear. Zaino a little shaky coming down the hill. He almost went off there. Psycho is going to be looking at him. Zaino under threat. There's a train. As you said, Apollo's come in. He's 23 seconds off the field, but he's on some fresh rubber.
Botsy on Henners here. And for the move.
Henners.
On the outside, he should back out.
Henners on those softs.
The softs might be going off now. It's about a 7 to 8 lap window you have on those softs.
Psycho.
Keep in mind there was a safety car.
Psycho with a bit of a slip coming out of the turn 19 chicane there. Ruben's jumped into the pit lane. Let's look back to Potsy because he's going to actually, let's jump on with Ben. He's going to have DRS on Revo now in a fight for the lead. Coming down the Camel Straight. This can't be anything other than an overtake there. Ben.
Yeah, the back
out. Wheel to wheel. Through Lacombe around the outside. It's very tight here. Revo gets back through. He gets a little slip on the curb, but of course, it's very tight racing for the race lead right now. Coming down through. Ben just out ahead. Revo's got the optimal inside here, but it's going to switch back for Ben on the outside. Is Revo going to be able to hold on to the Thai driver? Things are so tight between these two as we move down the hill. Ben folds behind Revo for now. What a tight exchange between these two. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Belgian Grand Prix. Revo and Ben are locked together for this one.
hats off to Ben the Bear. I thought he should have backed that into Lake Combat. He decided to go for it, and that provided some great racing, some great wheel-to-wheel racing, very respectful of each other, giving each other just enough room to fight each other and not take each other out. Hannah's is slowly dropping back through the field as well.
Yeah, those softs are definitely betraying him here, and that was a fantastic exchange that we saw between Revo and Ben. Hard racing right there. Hard racing.
Hey, Dommy's in on this now. Dommy is in on this now. The opportunity is overtaken.
Slight tap on Ben. He's got to be careful. That might have compromised Ben in his run on Revo here. And this is going to really give Domi an opportunity. And the last thing Ben wants is for Domi to be barking up his rear. He wants to get into a good battle with Revo here. Something that everybody's been really wanting to see all season long. We're seeing it here unfold on a very iconic circuit. But Domi says, well, Domi wants in. He wants in on this action, big time.
We could very well get 3 wide if Domi uses up his ERS. Well, I don't think we'll have it. Or could we?
Oh, it's very tight. Revo on the inside right now. He's got Domi on the outside, inside. Where are these drivers? Revo is holding it through in lead of this race. Domi is very shaky, and this is giving Mikal an invitation to the party with Wangod as well. Mikal, Domi, wheel to wheel coming down the hill. This is absolute intensity.
No one wanted to back out into Lake Como. That's crazy. Oh my god. The 3 wide into Lake Como, that never works. And they somehow just were able to scrape out as Wangod's making an opportunistic move on Mikau here. He's got the move done. Well done. Well done, Wangod.
That was a very, very smooth operation coming out of the AlphaTauri there. Mikau, I imagine, not going to be too thrilled. Of course, one thing to take note of here is the tires. You've got Revo and Mikau both on these hards. Potsy as well in the top 10 on the hards. With Freewer there at the back of the top 10 on the hards as well. But you have a good chunk of drivers on these hards versus mediums. There's going to be a little bit of pace differential at the moment. Revo is on these hards to the end. And the important thing here is the fighting, I think, is going to cost the medium runners more so. And Ben the Bear is not going to be happy that Domi is fighting him right now at all, or that he is in this train with Wangod tight to them.
Ben the Bear should have Revo here. Revo has almost no ERS, and Ben the Bear has all of it to use. Or not all of it, but he has a DRS to use, so here we go.
What a run. The ability of that DRS, and both of these drivers are absolute flat on battery.
Well, this is a good opportunity for Revo now to just save that battery and maybe have a later push in the race when Ben's tyres kind of die off a little and his hard still have that life, and just use that battery to pull away and get that overtake done.
Well, this is going to give us our first look at these mediums for Ben. In clean air now. He's in lead of this race. Revo wanting to... and there's been a retirement as Impulse has called it quits into the pit lane.
Yeah, so, the previous lap he spun it pull on, I believe, on that inside curb, and yeah, that no assist experiment not really working out for him.
Yeah, not going to be too thrilled with that, but as you said, the no assist experiment. Revo, he's losing the Ben the Bear here. He's been dropping time, and if Domi's able to put some pressure on Revo, this could be massive for Ben, because you got to keep in mind these mediums are the quicker tire at the moment.
Just noting, Revo was just using up his ERS then. He does get a lot back in the bus stop, but he just used it just to try and keep within Ben the Bear's DRS. He might be looking for an overtake here just to stay competitive and make Ben honest about
Zaino's had a major issue.
Time management.
Zaino's had a major issue just coming out of the Sector 2-3 split here, where we saw a retirement and qualification as Big Al and Potsy now have an exchange coming down through into Turn 1. Wangod and Mikau now just before Eau Rouge have exchanged. Mikau back into 4th position ahead of the AlphaTauri now. But that's going to give Wangod, as I lose my voice, the DRS up the outside, coming down the Kemmel Straight. Potsy and Big Al with the exchange just the same.
Yeah, it's relatively easy for both of them. Mikau had to back out, so did Big Al. Just on Ben the Bear, Revo and Domi, that's just a train that's that's gonna lead to something. Either going to be incident or some great racing, but as we saw before, some really bold racing as well. But
one curious thing here will be the penalty situation at the end of it, because Spa isn't really I don't think it's a penalty circuit. It's, in my opinion, it's fairly hard to get corner cutting penalties of any kind here. What would you say on that one there?
It's more the track extending you got to be more worried about here. It's if you're just really keen to get on the throttle sometimes, and that can make you lose out at like corners like No Name, Puon, the start of Sector 3. Those are 3 kind of hot spots. I guess you could also cut the first corner of the Le Calm section, so you know there's a bit there that you might be able to cut. And those are 4 corners that are relatively easy to cut or extend at, but then again, like you said, it's not the hardest, that's for sure.
Mikau on the rear of Vanguard. Vanguard has dropped off our front runners now. The top 3 are nearly 2 seconds clear of the AlphaTauri. Mikau now with DRS. Is he going to be able to catch up a significant portion of Vanguard? Too far behind, I should say, to make a move here, but it is going to give him a unique ability to keep up. And Vanguard showing great pace throughout the past couple of races. He had a superlative drive in Hungary, and now he's doing well here.
Big Guy's made a mistake in like comments that freeway to catch up, and just something in from Biddo, rain in 15 minutes, according to Freeware's Jeff.
Well, 15 minutes from now, rain. Very interesting, very spicy. So we'll see what these hard runners are going to do, and we'll see if it's going to be... One key question is, the clouds have come in quite thick here, but the big key question is the rain, Seb, going to be enough for wet tires? We've seen some real interesting races this season where the drivers, they get into these wet conditions, they switch on over to the intermediate compound tires far too early, they get thrown into just brutal pace situations where they get overtaken and mugged. So we'll have to see if that rain dynamic gives us that confusion.
Exactly. One thing I will say is that just a little bit of rain, as Potsy goes wide at Blanchemont, that's interesting. And Freeway nearly runs to the back of Big Al. Just saying on the rain, just a little bit of rain can really throw off these hard runners. It's really hard, especially if they start losing tire temps. Tire temps are very crucial in maintaining grip levels, as Freeway runs in the back of Big Al. I forget how to pronounce names.
There we have the move, Mikau and Vanguard. Just a clean cut move through into Lacombe.
They'll be doing that a bit more, I think, throughout the rest of the race, as long as they have DRS. Freeway's just really keen to get a move on with Big Al, though. Like I said, nearly ran into him at bus stop and then ran into him at La Source, so got a lot of confidence on the brakes compared to Big Al.
Saw coming down that Camel Straight that Revo was fairly close to Ben. We'll see if he's got an opportunity for another run here. Ruben has made a move ahead of Zaino, now into 16th position. He's on softs. Zaino on these 8-lap-old mediums, looking for traction, it would seem, a little bit there as we rode on board with him. Trin right now fighting with Psycho. Less than half a second is the gap between those two. A little bit of a rubber difference. Trin on 2-lap fresher hard compound tires. Here we go with Freeware coming down into the chicane. Lunge down the outside. Tight racing here. That's going to give a good switch back onto the inside line there for Freeware, and that is a smooth move done. Very clean from him. That's into easy. 7th.
He could get Potsy here as well. Ah, he is using. Thanks for that, Ali. Thought he was, but I just couldn't tell.
Revo.
Probably get it.
With DRS, not a lot of battery. Ben the Bear holding. Ben the Bear later on the brakes, it would appear. Freeware on Potsy now. The next car to take, you can see the run. It's a lot. Is this going to give Big Al an opportunity? No. Freeware. Oh, Potsy's tapped him through. Freeware's gone into the wall.
Yeah, it's a
No.
bit bad. Oh no, that's Potsy's fault.
It doesn't look like he's taken any damage, and now it's T-Mac who's gone in. Ooh, yellow flags. I think Freeware thought he might have been clear there, but it's a difficult angle. So I think that's given T-Mac damage. We're going to look at Trin now. He's looking real hard at Psycho. Going to flip back on over. Let's take a look at the front end of T-Mac, and there it is. The front right end plate is off the Williams.
Combines now on the back of this Potsy and Big Al kind of train. Yeah, Potsy's just taken out Freeware, hasn't he? Just put his nose where it didn't belong.
Yeah,
thought he
that
should
was
have backed
tough.
out when he. I thought he should have kind of backed out when Freeware got fully fully ahead. Sorry, on the outside. Just maybe Potsy could have just backed out just a little bit more. He didn't really need to take a peek. It wasn't going to earn him anything. So.
Well, it's a day late and $1 short on that move, I think, from him. And Freeware had that overspeed coming down through into Lacombe. It was very clear cut. We saw how it can impact these races with that very long Kemmel straight. So stewards, they will be reviewing that, but it's tough. It's tough for Freeware, that's for sure.
I'm expecting a penalty for Potsy for that incident, but we'll see what the stewards say.
T-Max jumped into the pit lane for that repair of the end plate, it would seem, and he's gonna, let's see what tires he gets on here. There's not that much running left. He's gonna jump onto some softs. I mean, there is a good chunk of running. It's long laps here around Spa, but one key thing to note, Ben the Bear is still leading Revo, and the energy deployment for both of these guys is quite close and quite low, and they've both pulled away from Domi now. Domi 2 seconds behind him. It's Mikau 2 seconds behind, but Mikau has his own issues. Wangod, who was very competitive with him in, of course, the Hungarian Grand Prix last week, is going to be looking to make it a headache 2 weeks in a row. Mikau not having the best drive in Hungary. Of course, his qualifying didn't go that great. And of course, we saw that issue coming through turn 2 last week in Budapest. But things here are really heating up nearing the end of this race as the gaps have started to come tighter and tighter, combined on the rear of Big Al.
Combined being quietly good. Just closing up on these two. He's been kind of all over Big Al the past lap, but he hasn't really made much gains.
Of course, if you're new to the stream, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Strifium. Joining me from the land down under is Seb. I'm hailing, of course, from Canada, and we have the Misfits Racing League on display. It's the Oceanic Division, a global league, a global community. Of course, join the Discord if you're looking for a great home to race in. We have a ton of races. We have 2 more happening today, just not immediately after this one. We have the Tier 2 and Tier 1 racers taking to action at 9:15 and 11:15 p.m. BST, respectively. That's 3:15, 5:15 for those in North America CDT. So hopefully you tune in later on with me and Unicorn for Tier 2, and Mikau, who's actually racing in 4th right now, will be joining me for Tier 1 commentary. So a lot of fun racing around Spa.
Ben the Bear's got a penalty.
Oh,
Revo's on 2 warnings, so is Bummy. So,
well, still a little bit of racing here.
Ben the Bear needs to find a way to make Revo make just a subtle mistake and just go that little bit wide to get that extra warning. If he wants that win, he's going to have to try something along those lines.
Well, there's still good potential for a safety car here in this race right now. That is one thing to note.
Imagine a late safety car and it just bunches up the whole field, and it might give some others a chance at the podium here.
There's a lot of drivers in this grid that would be very upset with a late safety car, but I think that there would also be a good chunk of drivers very happy about it. We're, of course, talking about that back end of the grid. I imagine T-Mac would be ecstatic to see a safety car, given that he's just gone onto those softs. Let's jump in with him for a sec. Actually, back to Revo, because he's very tight to the rear of Ben. Coming into Lecom, Ben holds it for now. Let's take a look at T-Mac. He's looking very tight. Well, very close, I should say, at Ruben. They are very tight coming through Blanchemont, coming down into the chicane now. Move back to the outside for the Williams. He is on the much fresher soft rubber. You can see Gazieg has jumped into the pit lane. It looks like Ruben is going to do the same. T-Mac into 15th position. And things on this grid. Let's take a look at the fastest lap here. Ben the Bear is holding on to it right now. But the key thing to note here, ladies and gentlemen, P1 and P2, Ben the Bear and Revo, currently locked dead with the exact same fastest lap in this race. Hello. I cannot believe that. That is something else to see here. And let's take a look at the position changes. Of course, they've been deadlocked. Ben the Bear started on pole position. Revo behind him. We saw an exchange for them during the opening of this race for Revo to take the lead. Things have now come back to where they began for these drivers. But, of course, penalties, as you said, Seb, going to play a role. Domi has made it up 2 slots here so far. Good job from him.
This is getting relatively interesting. Just a note, Ben the Bear and Revo just running on no ERS. 3 blocks onto the bus stop chicane. Both using all that they have. Keep in mind, Revo just has to stay within 3 seconds of Ben the Bear to get the win, but I know, knowing him, he will want to get this done on track, so...
Well, he's definitely pushing to get it done on track. And I think that at the end of the day, winning because of penalties doesn't yield anywhere near the same feel, result, bragging rights, you know. They want to get it done on track.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my mindset as well. If you can get it done on track, do it on track. That way you don't have to deal with anything after that may arise. The reason why I'm quite a high pros because I've got a household that needs to sleep, so
Yeah.
can't be too loud.
Seb's got family and friends to think about over at home there. He's got that late night special going on over on the commentary. I've got the early morning shift. It's 8:45 a.m. over here in Canada. And here we go. It's Psycho looking down at Trin. And this battle has just been waging and waging between Ben the Bear and Revo. And you love to see things this tight. Of course, for those just tuning in, Revo all season long has been fighting with Ben. Revo leading the championship right now. He's got 3 wins this season. We're on round 4. The big question is, can he make it 4 for 4? And Ben the Bear, I imagine, wants to throw a monkey wrench in that streak. And it's lovely to see people competing on such high level here. Because, of course, Revo, a Sauber Esports development driver, he is no slouch. He is one of the quickest guys around. So it's really cool to see him racing with us, of course. And Ben, yeah, he's got him. He's got him. Is he going to get it done down into Lacombe? He's got the move on the inside now. Wheel to wheel. They are a little tight through there. Ben was just ahead through. He maintains it for now. And the battery, and the lack of battery, I should say, for Revo, definitely playing a role in that attempt at an overtake there. Just a little bit more battery in the tank. Give him what he needs. But for now, we're on lap 19, and this battle is still waging on.
Revo just half committed there. It was probably the right decision because half committing just allows him that option that if Ben the Bear blinks first, then Revo could have the move done, but also gives Revo the option to back out in case a situation like just what happened occurs.
Bryn has a problem named Psycho. Psycho ahead. Izzy though. Trin with a good hold later on the brakes, holding Psycho. Coming through into Lacombe, and I thought Psycho had him dead to rights, but Trin had other plans.
Nice move for him on the outside. Just sweeps through. He's earned a points position after that horrid start he had. Both him and Psycho spun out at the start from memory, so nice recovery from both of them. Mikhail's all over Domi at the moment.
Mikkel's all over Domi. He's on those hard compound tires versus the mediums now, Mikkel. And it's going to be a good run for him, I imagine. He's got a ton of battery in the tank. Domi, a little bit as well. Revo now, let's look at the front. Is he going to get that run? You can see he's got that dry battery, but he's got a better run. Ben holding that inside. Revo ahead now, coming down into the braking zone, and he is clear ahead in this fight for P1. He has made it back into lead of this race where we saw him take it on the opening lap. Mikkel into third.
Mikkel got Domi as well. Those hards coming to life. Look at that. Look at the mediums. They look like they're in game grainy. They're starting to lose their life.
Combine gets ahead of Big Al now, and we're starting to see these final phase exchanges as these drivers begin to really hammer down that throttle. Henners is looking at Psycho as we make our way up the hill, coming down the straight now with the DRS. Is he going to have a good enough run here on the AlphaTauri? He's not utilizing the Bauer right now, and I think that may be a mistake. Of course, he looks to the inside, snaps back to the rear of the AlphaTauri. That would have been a day late for him. And of course, let's go back to Ben. He has really begun to drop on Revo. He does not have nearly as much energy as he would like for a fight like this. Of course, it is the hards versus the mediums, and we've got 2 more laps to go. Revo now coming out through turn 19. He's going to cross us into the penultimate lap of this race. And it's been a very good race here so far. Henner's now on the rear of Psycho, coming down the hill. Is he going to have a look? He's got a good carry of speed. Psycho defending well now. Henners doesn't have much of an opportunity.
These mediums just about reaching the end of their lives. You'd normally be pitting around lap 7 or 8 on the softs and then going about 16 laps on the mediums. And, well, most of the medium runners have gone about 16 laps on these tyres, so...
Henner's really not using any of his ERS deployment here. The big question is why. He's on lap 20. He doesn't have a lot of running left to do here, and if he uses that battery, P10 is in sight for this driver because you can see the Ferrari coming out of turn 19. He can see what's ahead of him. Overtake now in utilization into the penultimate lap we go.
He needs to go for the move at Lake Comp. Just save it up right now. He needed to get that move really done last lap if he wanted a great chance of getting Trin on the final lap. But I don't think that's very likely at the moment. Yellow flags in sector 2. I think that's Zeno.
Psycho has a charging McLaren right on his gearbox, and here we have it, the DRS and the overtake in full utilization this time around, and you can see the speed carrying ahead as Henners moves into 11th position. He's got a second to catch ahead of him for that final points position. We'll check in with him in a moment. Meanwhile, Big Al within a second of combined as Apollo and Psycho have had an exchange. Apollo on the 13-lap-old mediums getting a move in, and I didn't even see Apollo coming on the timing tower, so he's got Henners in sight.
Apparently, according to Biddo, Ben's got a puncture. You could just see this, just watching him. It doesn't look like he does so far, but that could just still be deflating. Yeah, I don't see one.
Well, where is the puncture? I think you may be mistaken. Yeah. At the very least, we don't see a puncture, and the times are definitely not reflecting a puncture.
Yeah.
Alex, what are you talking about?
It's not April Fool's, mate. We're a fair bit from that. All right. No, all right. Someone does have
Domi has a puncture.
His name is Domi. Yeah.
Wrong driver. Domi is struggling massively coming down the hill here, and that's a last lap puncture for him. And Henners, as I said, we were going to jump back in to see what is going on with the McLaren. He is flying. Trin. Overtake now for Henners. Look at the DRS. Look at the carry of speed. It's the hards versus the mediums, and Henners is just going to eat that Ferrari alive coming down into Lacombe.
Look at Pepsi as well. He's just on the back of this little group as well. Might be able to steal a P11 here. Trin looks to be struggling on those hards.
Well, Revo now is going to take it. The checkered flag is waving. He crosses the line with the race win here in Spa, and it's Ben second here around Belgium, with Mikau crossing third quickest. Then it's Revo, 4 for 4 for the Alfa Romeo. The Sauber Esports development driver is on fire.
Oh, it's going to be tight between Potsy and Domi.
Potsy.
It's going to be really tight. Let's look at this.
Domi.
Oh.
Getting 5th. What a race it's been. Apollo still fighting with Trin. Freeware in 9th. Henner is looking to finish here in 10th. He's made it quite far ahead. Trin defending as best he can to the inside of the chicane. Now Apollo around the outside for a final lap exchange. Is Apollo going to get ahead, and his penalties going to come into this equation? There we have Trin finishing 10th as Apollo slots into 11th. Henners drops into 12th. Psycho 13th. T-Mac 14th. It's Gazieg now coming through Blanchemont. And you have Ruben in 16th. And they will be the final 2 drivers to finish out this campaign. Once again, Revo in the Alfa Romeo. He's done it 4 times straight. And the rain has just started to come down.
I was just about to point out the rain is starting to fall. Just as you had Pepsi and Trin go at it at the bus stop chicane.
Wow. What a spectacular race that was. We had the 1 safety car on lap 3. And that was pretty well it for the safety car drama. A little bit of drama. Freeware having an issue with Potsy after he was on a very good charge. But of course, all said and done, Revo with the win. Ben the Bear P2. And it was Mikau rounding out your podium. He'll be happy with that after a disastrous drive by his standards in Hungary. Revo making the streak 4 strong now. Ben the Bear close, but no cigar. What a race. Mikau will collect the fastest lap point here in this one. A 1:44.220 coming out of the Charging Bulls. It was Red Bull from 4th to 3rd for Mikau. His teammate Panda had probably the most unfortunate race of the grid in this one, getting collected early from that issue coming through Lacombe. Of course, that was Freeware's car coming across with Panda going into it, and that was a very, very nasty crash there, but a very good race overall. Of course, thank you so much to everybody in the chat who tuned in for this one. My name is Strifium, all the way from Canada, bringing you this racing action. And of course, if you're looking for more racing action, help us out, help me out, help out the Misfits. Hit that follow button. We've got a ton more racing coming to you this week. We have 3 more Belgian Grand Prix this week. 2 of them are happening later on today. Of course, 3:15 p.m. CDT / 9:15 p.m. BST for our friends over in the UK. Of course, that is when Tier 2 action kicks off. 2 hours following that race start, we have the Tier 1 racers, and I am super excited for that. But that is going to wrap up action. Very, very fun race. Thank you, Seb, for the commentary assistance as always. Greatly appreciate that. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Hopefully you enjoyed that one. Let us know if you enjoyed it. Give us a, scale of 1 to 10. How was that race for you? Let us know in the chat. We're going to head on over in a second here and rate a member of the community. Seb, how was that for you?
Fun.
Very fun. Very fun, of course. Jump on in the Discord if you're looking to race with us. We have a fantastic community. Even if you're not interested in league racing, we're doing open lobbies, fun things all the time. We have the Endurance Series, which is the series of races where we go 100% distance. It's a lot of fun. We have that happens on Saturdays here. But we have a lot of great racing. So thank you so much for all the support. We're going to head on over and find somebody to raid here that is of course, the Formula 1 community. We're new to this time region, so we're going to hit up somebody who may not know who we are, maybe give somebody a nice, surprise. So stay tuned for just a moment while I figure that out. But of course, while I figure that out, we have some closing messages as always. And I am very excited to hopefully see most of you for Tier 2 and Tier 1 racing later. Once again, my name's Strifium. Thanks a lot, guys, and we will see you later on.